Okay. All right. Welcome back to another episode of Small Guys Podcast. Today we are talking 13 lives and bodies, bodies, bodies. We are missing Aiden today. We had a lot of problems this week with I know it's so sad. We had a lot of problems this week with internet and power and everything with storms blowing out and stuff like that. So
Why
Aiden,
are
we
we lying
can't
to the
afford
fans?
we can't afford our electricity
Guys,
we
bill.
can't afford electricity bill. We
Please
can't keep the lights on.
subscribe.
Guys, Aiden's addictions have gotten the best of him. He's out for the day. he couldn't stop vaping. It was the craziest thing. No, real power went out. Shitty situation.
Yeah. So his scores will be on our website, smallguyspod.com. If you want to go see what Aiden gave these scores, because he did watch both these things. He just can't make it today. He'll be back next week though.
What a bitch.
Yeah, what a bitch. Before we get into those movies, we do have like a lot of movie news that popped up, and we didn't really get to talk about anything last week. So this week we'll cover it. A lot of people were asking us, we were getting messages about House of the Dragons if we were watching it or anything like that. I know as of right now, there's only 2 episodes out, and me, Brian, and Aiden are the only ones that have watched it. I'm not sure if Andrew and Mike are gonna watch it.
I am. It's on my list.
Okay.
Are you
Yeah,
cruising
I-
through Game of Thrones right now, or what?
What?
Are you cruising through Game of Thrones?
I just
Are you
started it for the
All
first
right.
time ever.
Hell
so,
yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Fuck.
too,
Well, now I'm looking forward to. Let's do a Game of Thrones second, like when Andrew fucking starts watching it for real to tell us where he's at.
honestly, too, if he just watched House of the Dragon, it might be interesting to see his perspective without seeing the show.
I can do that.
Ooh, that's
I
a
can
good
do
Yeah,
that.
Mike, if you want to try to do
I'm
that.
only on episode. I'm only on episode 2. I can.
You know
I
too
can-
much. You met Ned Stark.
I could
No,
call
but-
it a day.
But episode 2 broke records for HBO. It had 10 million viewers in its second week in a row on the night the episode dropped, which is insane. And the show has currently just gotten renewed for season 2, which we figured would happen. For someone that's watched the first 2 episodes without saying any spoilers, this show gives me hope again. It reminds me of the first like 5 seasons of Thrones. And gets me super excited. I'm really, really looking forward to Sunday nights now. Not just for Sunday Night Football, it's also this too. It's gonna be tough deciding which one I want to watch first. I'll probably do Sunday Night Football then that, but I'm gonna have to watch them both that night because I gotta avoid spoilers on Twitter. But
Yep.
I really enjoy it. Brian, what do you think? Do you like it so far? Or?
Yeah, so from the first episode alone, you're going through it. One of the biggest things about Game of Thrones, it took me, I'll admit it took me like a season to finally get everyone's fucking names down. And it's weird starting over again. And again, in the first episode, you don't really know which way it's gonna go. It's super badass because the dragons that we kept hearing about popping up in this is fucking great. And then that second episode hit, dude. I'm so hyped for this. And on top of that, it's now building hype for that fucking the Jon Snow show that they want to do. And yeah, if this show continues with the momentum it has by the end of season 1, like it's gonna continue to break records. Like this is good. They gave George R.R. Martin like more like creative style with this one. Like he's more involved because obviously the Game of Thrones ending wasn't the best, and they blame it on George R.R. Martin not finishing the books. Again, they could have done something way better. Didn't, whatever, in the past. But with this show, starting out fresh, we're in the world. It's 127 years. What is it?
172.
172 years before the Mad King. And yeah, there's a lot that's going to happen. We know there's a time jump coming up in the next episode.
So I think every episode will have a time jump. I think over the course of the first season, it's 10 years.
Yeah, they said they were going 10 years ahead. And yeah, I'm a fan of that. And I'm super excited to see what goes on. And like Josh said, every Sunday now, something to look forward to.
Yeah.
So
And
Josh, you said you liked House of Dragons so far?
oh yeah, I mean we're only 2 episodes in, but like seasons 1 through 5 of Game of Thrones is like some of the best television I think I've ever watched.
Yeah,
so,
those is really good.
That's cool.
and I didn't mind 6 or 7.
Josh, you're gonna love when I drag my nuts across your face.
Got his ass. House of the Dragon.
I'll
Nuts
cut that
across
out.
Josh's face.
Guys, now people are gonna picture that.
What's wrong with that?
Not like the picture. I don't like the picture. Let's be honest with you.
No, and once the season finale rolls around for the show, I think it's the end of October, I want to say, or early November, or whatever it is. We'll do a whole episode dedicated to talking about that show. There's so much to talk about. We'll probably bring on a guest or 2. It'll be similar to what we did for Stranger Things. It's a big show, and we're really excited to talk about it. So we'll get really into spoilers and stuff once that comes around. But maybe for the next couple of weeks, we'll mention an episode or 2 that we're that's happening and say how we feel about it. But so far, the show is great. And that brings us to our next show is She-Hulk, which as of today, the 3rd episode just came out. I think only me, Mike, and Aiden have watched it. Andrew, have you watched it yet?
I watched the first 2 episodes. I didn't watch the
Okay.
newest one that came out today.
Hey,
Okay, so what do you think so far?
So far I like it. It's different, I feel like, from the other Marvel shows, how they're like talking to the camera, some scenes. That's a little
Yeah,
bit
because
different.
she in the comics did that before Deadpool did.
Okay, gotcha. I
So
did not know that.
it's a thing those 2 characters do.
Okay.
But I think her
yeah, no.
timing on it and everything's really good. Mike, what do you think?
I like it so far, man. It's
Yeah.
definitely not like the greatest Marvel that we'll probably ever get, but for the most part, it keeps me entertained. And I want to
Yeah.
know your guys' reactions after that end credit scene for the 3rd episode. So
I
Andrew,
saw
what
that
you
on
think?
Twitter. Very good scene.
I
Kind of
haven't
made me
seen it
think
yet,
I should
so.
watch it.
I'm not gonna say anything. I'm not
Okay.
gonna
Yeah,
say
don't say it's all over Twitter though. It's like a meme thing. It's not like
Gotcha.
Wolverine shows up. It's nothing crazy. It's not like world building or anything crazy, but
Gotcha.
it's just funny. So
Honestly, I can't remember like a time like I busted out laughing at a Marvel movie like since like this. Honestly, man, like it's been a while since I busted out laughing. I was just like, what the fuck?
What do you mean, dude? They had screaming goats and Thor. That had me pee in my pants.
Yeah.
well, no, and that's that's the thing is like this show plays different than the other shows have. It's like it plays as a sitcom. It has an A plot and a B plot in every episode, and they are shorter episodes because they're doing 9 of them. But like they have a ton of cameos, and it's just like the whole thing's just really funny. And it so far it's a good show. I can't complain. I'm excited for Daredevil to show up too. So.
Brian, you actually loved Thor so much that it is the 2nd lowest thing you've rated on the entire podcast. That's how much you loved
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Well, that's what we call tough love.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah, that movie was underwhelming. I think is the best way to put it. The more and more I think about it, I don't think I'll ever rewatch that movie. Like literally ever.
No,
Well,
I
Guys, you guys might be like, "Oh, that happened in Thor." I'd be like, "Cool."
No,
Don't
and then too,
remember.
it's the same with this show. I think it ends October 13th or 14th. Like I said, it's 9 episodes. So once that's done, we'll talk about that too on here. But there is some other Marvel news, pretty big news. Henry Cavill is going to join the cast of Loki season 2. That's pretty cool.
That's
I don't know
cool.
what
Okay,
role
so
he
he's
played, but that's cool.
Hopefully they do
Confirmed.
him right the way that Warner Brothers fucked him over playing
No.
Superman. I didn't
Yeah.
really I wasn't a huge fan of that first superhero movie, but I never had an issue with Henry Cavill. I thought he was fucking great for that role.
But I mean, I think we can all agree Loki was our favorite Disney Plus show, right?
Easily.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Okay.
I agree with that.
I forgot the name of who he's gonna play, but I seen like a rumor on Twitter, but I guess it's confirmed now that he's coming.
Yeah, it's confirmed he's joining. I don't know who yet. I don't think anyone knows yet.
He's Wolverine.
Obviously, it's going to be a big character. Yeah. Wolverine.
It better be a big character. You gotta keep someone like that in the MCU for a while.
Oh yeah, yeah. And then too, the new Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power, that comes out tonight from the day of which we're recording. I think by the time this comes out, it'll be out. I've never seen. This is pretty embarrassing. I've never seen a Lord of the Rings movie before.
I'm right there
How do
with
you,
you.
how do
I'm
you
right there
guys
with
have a film
movie
podcast, but
podcast,
you
yeah.
haven't seen the greatest fucking adventure ever given to us
Yeah.
in cinema?
No.
I've seen a couple when I was younger, but like I
No.
can't recall. anything.
It's definitely it is a I don't know how to word it because
It's a
again
movie.
it's
It's a
some
movie.
no
It's a movie.
it's something that everyone should do, but it definitely is like a fucking I don't know, like a mission. Like you were in that bitch just to
Whoa,
watch
hey.
it.
Are
There
we
is
talking
like
about Lord of the Rings? Or we talking about something else, man? It's,
no,
What
dude,
are
it's
you-
Lord of the Rings. Because like you're watching that shit, you no distractions because so much goes on. And they're
Yeah.
long as fuck. And especially if you want to do it right, you watch the extended versions that adds like 30 minutes to an already 3-hour movie.
Yeah, I think altogether the 3 extended versions of just the Lord of the Rings trilogy is like 12 hours. I love it.
Yeah.
And that's
they
not even
get-
counting the Hobbit
That's a
movies.
commitment.
Dude, they get
Yes.
long, but they're so good. Like
Yeah.
so
that's
good.
like a commitment of like a whole day. If I'm gonna watch it, it's gonna be a whole day. Lord of
You
the
got to
Rings.
break that up. Do one
Yeah, and then
one every
if
couple
you-
days.
if
gotta
You
eat
gonna
really
do them all
wanna
straight
do
through?
it, and then you watch like The Hobbit, you throw that in there.
Nah, man, I'm peeing in a 2-liter, and I'm
Yeah, so like Brian and Aiden are gonna watch that show a lot, and so we'll talk about that too down the road. But or they'll mention it every other week or whatever. But yes, we are watching that too. And I know
Josh,
they're pretty.
I think we should try and get those movies down, and so we can join them. I'd be
Yeah.
curious.
Well, too, I wanna
I've never
do-
heard anything bad other than the only thing that everyone says. I've also never seen them. Guilty here is that they're long. So if that's the only complaint that people have, I have no problem watching these movies at all.
No, and I've heard people say like this is one of the best trilogies they've ever seen. So
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
we gotta
really
work
I
on
good.
that.
definitely want to once we watch them, me, you and Mike and stuff. I want to do like a rewind of those movies too. I think a lot of people would like hearing that. I don't know. So
I'm just saying, I
that's
think
open to it too.
on the Small Guys podcast, I honestly kind of can resonate a little bit. Too long is not great. I'm more like
No, you want it shorter,
No, like,
smaller.
Shorter,
smaller.
smaller, petite,
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with
just right.
Guys,
Package,
Motion
now,
of the
perfect
all right,
package.
now this does not seem like we're talking about the series, Mikey.
no. It's Lord. We're talking about Lord of the Rings too long.
We got a first look at Christian Bale in the upcoming gothic thriller, The Pale Blue Eye. It's a film that follows a detective and his young cadet named Edgar Allan Poe.
Whoa, I know that guy.
Yeah, investigating a series of murders in the 1830s. It's releasing in theaters on December 23rd, and it's going to be on Netflix January 6th. That seems pretty exciting. I'm excited for that movie.
Yeah,
when I
that
saw
does
it.
seem really good.
Netflix.
I have never even heard of that until you texted that to us.
Yeah. So I was pretty excited about that. And then last but not least, the first trailer for the Winnie the Pooh, the horror film, has been released.
I did not
The
watch
title
that.
is, it was pretty funny. The title is Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey.
Yep.
The film follows Winnie
Did
and
it
Piglet.
release?
No, the trailer just came out.
Oh, that's what I'm
Um,
saying. Yeah.
Yeah, and the name just got released. The film follows Winnie and Piglet on a rampage after being abandoned by Christopher Robin.
Yep. Yeah,
So-
it looked good. It looked like
Did it really?
It's a movie.
like it.
It's a
Yeah, well,
movie.
yeah, best way to say it. It's gonna be one of those fun watches. Definitely not gonna be anything groundbreaking other than seeing Winnie the Pooh straight up murder people. But I'm actually kind of hyped about it because I remember seeing it on Twitter, and I think I sent it to our boy Spencer, and fucking me and Spencer were like, "Art, we're going." Like, I don't care. Don't even need to see the trailer. I'm in.
That
When
has to
is-
be criminal. That has to be a crime, honestly.
No,
When's
it's
it-
because the name went public domain, so they were like, "Fuck it, let's make a movie out of it."
Yeah.
When's it come out? I'm watching the trailer right now.
I'm not sure if there's a release date yet. I want to say it's at the beginning of next year. I'm not sure. but
I know the
it
trailer
just got
it
its
just
name.
says coming soon.
Yeah.
Oh wow, coming soon.
I didn't give it
Fucking
much.
hate that.
I know.
Yeah, it definitely has like a fan film kind of feeling to it, but
Yeah.
I don't know. But I think that's pretty much it for this week's news. Do you guys want to get into 13 Lives?
Let's
roll.
do it.
Okay.
Let's do it.
So 13 Lives, spoilers ahead. It is based off a true story. It's an Amazon original. It's a rescue mission is assembled
Spoilers ahead.
in Thailand, where a group of young boys and their soccer coach are trapped in a system of underground caves that are currently flooding. This movie is 2 hours and 22 minutes, sorry.
Seemed
Uh,
longer.
Long
Yeah.
movie.
It does feel like a long movie. It's got an 87% on Rotten Tomatoes for a critic score. It's got a 95% audience score.
Wow.
Damn.
Yeah, and I see the hype behind this movie. I mean, it's been trending these last couple of weeks, so we figured we'd check it out. I remember 4 years ago, 3-4 years ago, hearing about this story, and it's like, oh, okay, so how does that many kids end up in a cave that deep down, where like you really don't know to the extent of how bad it really was. I mean, what did they say at the end? 5,000 people helped
Yeah.
in total. Like
I-
it's
yeah,
crazy.
Yeah,
From
Different
all
countries.
over the world to get these boys out.
Yeah. So what did you guys think about this movie?
So I liked just from the get-go, dude, they did not waste your time with this
No.
2.5 hours. They literally start off and they show the kids going into the cave. And that
Yeah.
was it. And, like you're just like, oh fuck, like we're going. Like,
Yeah.
okay, no build up, nothing. They're just like, oh, there's a birthday party going on later on in the night. They just got done with their game or practice, whatever the fuck they had going on. And they were like, let's go to the caves because it's just a normal thing to do. And they went, and before you know it, they're fucking trapped. I thought that was fucking perfect. And the whole time, they literally leave you in the shadows for an hour. They don't show the boys at all.
Yeah.
It's just
I really like that. part
that
too.
was a great aspect because you feel almost, well, obviously we will never feel how the parents felt in that situation, but the whole time you're sitting there, you're like, where the fuck are the kids? Like, why are we seeing the goddamn kids? Like, what's going on here?
It's a little suspense, yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. No, I
Um,
mean, you go ahead, Andrew.
Oh, okay. Do they ever mention in the movie? I liked how they had the distance and stuff on there. That was cool. That made it more realistic. Do they ever mention how long those kids walked in, like time wise? Do they mention that? Like how?
I don't think
I don't
I
think
don't
they
think
did.
so.
Okay.
But I really wish they would have showed a little bit more in terms of like them getting to that back end of where they were
Yeah,
at.
as it flooded.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I wanted to see
that's I
that.
guess what I wanted to know. Like, were they, because when they're diving and stuff, they're going through. I mean, I know it was changed because of the water, but were the kids actually like crawling through the like? Why the fuck were? I mean, whatever, they were rescued, but like
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess everyone.
I
I
think-
just gotta imagine it just kept flooding and they just kept running, waiting to see a
Running.
higher ground because they knew they couldn't go out the way
Running
they
or they were getting caught in it and
Mhm.
pushed all the way to the very end.
Yeah,
I
true.
think they said that it's about a 3K to get down to where they're at. So I don't, I assume like they're saying that maybe they started running once they noticed the flooding. So I'm not sure how long it took them to get all the way down to where they ended up, but
Because I know like when it started to interrupt you, Josh.
no, you go ahead.
I know when they were like showing the divers actually doing it, like the British divers, it said it was a 3-hour and 50-minute dive to get to where they started to get to those boys. I'm like, holy shit! Like just
Not to the
imagine.
boys. To the
No.
boys, it was 5. Chamber 3 was 3 hours.
Oh, was that?
Chamber 3 was 3. No, at
Yeah.
one point when the flood was all the way to the entrance, it took them almost 7 hours to get
Yeah.
7 hours.
Mm-hmm.
7 hours
Right.
swim just to get there, not even back.
That's
Yep.
a whole shift, and you're
Yeah.
underwater,
Yep.
stressing out, going through
Yep.
Yeah.
caves, fucking trying not
Yep.
to die.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Oh my
You don't even
God.
know because again, they went in. The SEALs didn't want to go in, which totally makes sense. But these divers were like, oh, also, what was the bald guy's name? Because he had the fucking
Rick.
Rick had that
Yes.
quote, and I think we've had a movie in here where it's like a similar quote where he goes in there and goes, "You're gonna die in those caves." And he's like, "I have no interest in dying. I have interest in diving." It was like,
Yeah.
damn.
That's a goat ass quote right there.
But that whole scene, dude, where they're fucking just like going through it, and again, the SEALs weren't gonna go in, and they fucking in the worst conditions make it further than the SEALs, and they have to
SEALs
continue the line. And that's the thing too; they're flying blind. They can't see
Yeah.
anything. All they know is their basics on how to dive and stay alive, and they fucking managed to find these kids.
Yes, because these two divers, John and Rick, they're from the UK and they've been diving for, they say, 30 years.
Oh yeah. What's
In
interesting
caves,
is
so-
they were
So they
both
have some
like
experience.
that wasn't their job. Like the
No.
one's like, oh, I'm an
It's
IT, and the other
sideline.
guy's a firefighter.
Yeah.
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 So that was interesting.
But that's
Yeah,
funny
and they're
too, 'cause
better
the
than the Navy
SEAls.
SEALs.
The SEAls were literally ripping on them. They're like this goofy guy, and it's fucking the dude with glasses. I'm like, oh, come on, give John a chance.
Yeah. Well, I got
No,
a question then. So
Yeah, go ahead.
are they hinting at the fact that they upset the sleeping lady at the very beginning of the cave at the entrance?
Yeah, well, because like again, you see them pray to it to not be disrespectful, but
Mhm.
yeah, it's kind of hinted throughout that like the villagers think that somehow they like the village themselves pissed off the sleeping lady is what
Okay.
I like picked up on it. Like it wasn't necessarily the boys, it was just like the city itself pissed her off, and now this is how she was gonna like test them, and in a way, it kind of brought the city together because they
Oh,
all
yeah.
came together to
Oh,
get those boys
1000%.
out.
Brought the world together.
Yeah,
World-
exactly.
yeah.
So like if she was upset, that would feed perfectly into the villagers thing. Like, oh, she just wanted us all to unite in a really fucked up way. But again, everyone survived.
Yeah,
Very
like when
cool.
they
Except
went
for
to
two
the
people.
farmers,
Yep,
one person died.
yep. Sorry,
But
one.
then a second person
Yeah, the
died
infection.
with the
Oh yes,
infection.
you're right. Yep, good point. Yeah, and when like the farmers, when they go to the farmers and they're like, hey, like, we need to exit a lot of the water here,
That was a
probably ruining
powerful
it.
scene too.
yeah, and they're
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
for the
Flood
boys.
all their crops.
the
And they
boys,
go,
we'll
"Will
do
it
it."
save the boys?" And he goes, "I can't make any promises, but it will like sincerely help." And they all just looked around. They go, "We agree." And then, like that was
Yeah, they're
so
like, we'll do it for
powerful.
the
That
boys.
was.
Yep.
That was
Yeah.
powerful.
And
you
then-
know,
And then the Deep showed up right after they said the boys. It was crazy. It's the craziest thing.
you know that
I
wouldn't happen here. I hate to say it.
You know it wouldn't, dude.
There would never be that sense of community and bringing everyone together and be like, how much money can we make out of this?
Can we
That's
make
why-
t-shirts?
You can blame capitalism for that, Andrew. You can blame
Yeah, that's
capitalism.
true.
Just donate to my GoFundMe. It's totally going to the boys trapped in the cave and not just
Yeah.
my pockets. Like,
Don't worry.
They've only been down there for 97 days. Like, if we reach our $100,000 goal, we can send in Allen Park High School divers to come come try and rescue these kids out.
Good old America. Capitalism.
What were you gonna say though, Mike? Before that,
Oh, I just had a follow-up question to the first question I had then. So do you think that this is kind of a little bit dramatic then in a sense of like, oh, the lady was upset? Do the villagers actually believe that in real life, or are they doing it more for like a sense of like storytelling? For that?
I would say in real life, because over there, like in that part of the world, like they're very spiritual.
yeah,
Like very spiritual. Like they go and like, I forget what country it is, but they'll like dig up the dead and like clean them off out of like a sign of respect and then rebury them. So it's like stuff like that goes on, and like that's not what happens in our country at all.
no,
And so that's why I think it was like genuine, like it wasn't just a part of the plot.
I always wondered about like movies like this, like based off real events, like how much of it is actually like
Yeah.
dramatizing
they
it?
have to dramatize it to make it
Mhm.
entertaining. But I feel like this event in itself, they probably didn't have to dramatize it too much because like this is a life-threatening, scary situation. Like
Heartbreaking.
All
yeah.
the boys are, how young were they? How old was the team?
They're 12.
Yeah,
12.
okay. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if I was thinking that because there was 12 players or because they were actually 12.
Yeah. No, I mean, there's a ton of heartbreaking scenes. Like when they first discover the kids, and I love this too about the movie. I'll say this really quick. They don't find the kids till 50 to an hour in, and you don't see the kids once they go missing. They do not show you the kids until they find the kids.
Yeah.
Loved how they did
Yeah.
that. Because really, you
just
just
wish-
don't know.
I just wish they would have gone back then and shown a little bit how they got to the point they were at.
I'm with
Yeah.
Mike on that.
Yeah.
I do too, but I appreciated that they didn't like keep showing us the kids while they're still looking for the kids and haven't found them yet.
It
Now,
makes
do we
you
think
feel like
that's like
part of
a
the search.
yeah, well that, and do you think it was like probably part of like if these kids wanted to see this movie, they didn't want to traumatize them again by like having to like make them relive that and tell them how they got through the cave and got there for what was the grand total? 15 days? How many days not eating though? 12? 10? Was it 10 days
10.
without eating?
Oh my god.
And then
There's
they
a- yeah.
found them. They
Yeah.
found them, and like then they were able to bring them like snacks and stuff. They gave each pack had food for a week, right? Is that what they said?
Yeah, because I think they found the kids on day 8 or 9. Correct me if I'm wrong, and they could have found them probably sooner if they let the UK guys dive again. But they made them wait until the storm was over.
Yeah, they made them wait a full day.
Yeah. But anyway, when the first heartbreaking scene was like when they found the kids and had to leave them there.
Yeah.
That broke my heart to see
Mhm.
that. Yeah, I mean, another part too, I'm not trying to jump to the end, but like when he saves the kids at the end, like Harry, and
Mhm.
his father passed and he missed going to be with
Yeah.
his father to save those kids.
Mhm.
That broke my heart too. And then like you guys said with the parents and everything like that, the movie's super sad. I mean, I was like a little teary-eyed at the end. I mean,
Yeah,
and it
dude.
kind of is a happy ending, but it's just so sad. Like the whole story. Of how-
Sorta.
Just to think about
Yeah.
it, dude, like that is fucking terrifying. Me at
Yeah.
12 years old, I am not
Mm.
living that long, bro.
No,
Like no
Absolutely
chance. No
Absolutely.
chance.
And the
am I
coach
living-
like stressing out, thinking that
Oh,
everyone hates
that
him.
broke my heart too.
Broke my heart.
But I did love in the video. I got like one of those like happy tears when like the kid's on camera, and he goes, "Coach taught us how to meditate and like stay
Yeah.
calm and pray and stuff like that." And it was like, dude, like that is an A1 fucking coach. Like on and off the field, that is a great coach.
Well, I think it was his idea to dig too and everything.
Yeah, dude, that was crazy when Rick sees that and he goes to get out and he goes, "You guys dug this," and like Rick's face to see that was just like, God damn. And then heartbreaking too, before they come up with the idea of how to get them out. I don't know if you want to talk about that later. I don't want to like jump right ahead. But when they're talking about the idea of it, and he goes, if we don't fucking do this, we are just bringing back bodies.
Yeah.
And like he goes, there's no chance these kids aren't making the swim. They need to be absolutely still. And again, because
They make
They
that really
rescued-
apparent.
yeah, because they
With-
rescued that engineer or whatever
Yeah.
that got trapped, and he fucking freaked out.
Yeah.
And
That was a
that
short
was
swim.
that swim was 30 minutes.
Yeah.
You're supposed to go 5.5. And then I think though, when they took the kid, the time elapsed for that was 7.5.
Yeah.
Right? Isn't that what it was? So it went up 2 hours from just the professional divers when they would go in and make the trip.
I didn't really
Yeah.
think about that. That the death of the diver that the Navy SEAL general or head guy called. I didn't think that his death like sparked the idea for, I think Rick was his name, to actually call
Harry.
the doctor
Harry.
Harry. I didn't think about it like that.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I think I was wondering the whole time. I'm like, how the hell do they plan on getting these kids in this 5-6 hour swim all the way through it? When we saw the Navy SEALs head there with the food and stuff, and a few of them had to stay behind because their oxygen tanks, they're blowing through air so quickly.
Yeah.
I
That
was like, how
one-
are they going to train
that
these
was
12-year-old
crazy,
kids?
dude. And then the
Yeah, when
CO2
they're-
levels were fucked up. Then the Marines were like, we're gonna stay with you.
Yeah,
Because they fucked up and they had to come back with more oxygen tanks.
yeah, and they're so calm about it and everything.
Yeah.
because they knew. I mean,
Mhm.
so and there's like a good chance that like, oh, we might die down here too with them.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, do you guys want to get into how kind of what the plan was to get them out?
Well-
I this like blew my mind too because I never thought about this, but you go ahead. Andrew.
I want to just add, I think one scene that was really like impactful is after the UK divers, Rick or Rich and John,
Rick.
correct?
Rick and John.
Rick and John.
Yeah.
When they get back, and you can just tell that they're not even happy they found them because they
No.
realize how
Mm.
hard it was to get there. They're like,
Mhm.
I think he says like they're not making it out of there. They're like,
Nope.
we have no idea. Like,
well, because sorry to cut you off, but
No, you're
that
good.
scene when they have the tape and they give it to the guy and he literally says, "Watch who sees this," like because he like Rick literally told him, "Do not show this to everyone," and he comes running out. They found the kids. They found the kids, and then he walks out and goes, "They like everybody knows." And now the pressure is on because now they know every single one of them is alive, including the coach. Like
And parents have the hope
everyone,
now.
yes, everyone expects every single person to come out. Like that's fucked. And then we'll get into the fucking what the plan was because there's another powerful thing that happens with Rick and John too.
Okay. Well, yeah.
yeah,
So, Rick has an idea. Do you want to do it?
Yeah,
you can go ahead.
Okay, I was gonna. I'm gonna break it down really quickly. So yeah,
Go
so
for it.
Rick comes up with this crazy idea where he calls Harry, and they don't really tell us what the idea is for like a good chunk. I'm like, did I miss it?
they just
Um,
kind of said that they were calling it another diver.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So they call him in, and basically the plan is to sedate the kids. Did they say how often? I mean, I know they do it a few
Every
times.
30 minutes.
30
every 30
minutes.
minutes,
Yeah, they
had
gotta
to
give 'em a
inject them with
shot.
some ketamine.
Yeah, and I guess this has never been done before,
Nope.
ever. So
But in theory,
Well,
in
yeah,
theory,
in theory it could work, but I think the biggest thing was like the pressure too from them being like in the cave, like the actual like pressure of like the water pushing on them and shit.
Yeah.
I think the biggest concern was like they don't know how that was going to work with the sedative
yes.
and like with their heart rates and shit like that. And
Yeah, and
we
having
kind
to
of
and make
saw
sure
that.
they keep breathing
Yes,
steadily.
yes.
Yeah.
that
yes.
one scene, dude, where they keep turning the kid over, and the second he hits the water, stops breathing, but then they turn him out, and I was like, oh fuck, like this is the first sign of an issue.
Yes. And no, we will say like obviously every kid and the coach survives, thank God. So
Yep.
But yeah, you go ahead, Andrew.
No, I was gonna say what you just said.
Oh,
Continue
okay.
on.
Yeah, so I mean I think it was genius the way they kind of tied him up with the zip ties and so they moved like a log.
Yeah, dude, and the
'cause I was
water
like, what are they
bottle,
gonna do with their
the-
hands? The
yeah,
water bottle.
The water bottle between the legs, so that way their legs would still kind of like float with them.
Yeah, and they were learning as they did more and more kids and stuff
Mhm.
like that. And
Smash the one kid's
yeah.
legs in. They're like, hey, maybe we should put one at his feet too. You know.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I thought
Yeah, and I was
about
getting
that.
worried about the kid with the mask. You know, that kid with the
Yeah,
smaller
I was
face.
thinking about that whole time. I'm like, I know they were trying to be like probably mindful, but imagine how much those kids got fucking like ding ding ding, like fucking pinballed into shit.
Yeah, they were sore.
But
They
that's why
were definitely sore.
that's a big reason why they sedated him though. To do
Yeah, and it was supposed to be a
stuff
big
like that.
secret, like, hey, just in case,
I
we
did love
fucking-
Harry's speech each time. He was like, "You see that? That's Rick, or not Rick? Who was it?
Harry.
But Harry, no, but who was the diver? Where he kept saying, "That's the #1 diver in the world. You're in great hands." Like, I love
Yeah,
that.
they kept saying Harry kept
Yeah,
saying it about.
And
all
then,
his
but at
friends.
the end, the last two people, he's like, "All right, kid, your turn," and just shot him in the leg. It was like, "Hey, little buddy, are you awake? Nope, let's go." Because that last day is when the rain started again, and they were like, "We don't
Yeah.
fucking do this now. We got to go." And at that point, they had
They're fighting against current. more water.
6 out. Was it 6 out or was it 8 out? Was
I
it
think they had
8 and there
eight.
was 5?
Eight.
There was
They had
5
five
left in
left.
total.
I think it was 8
Yeah.
out.
Okay.
Yes.
Shout out.
Yeah, they had
Coach
5
winning the
left.
Last.
The monsoon was returning, and yeah, they had this was way harder because now they were fighting against the current, and they had more water to swim
and
through.
a child attached to them.
Yes, I mean they saw the child, and then there was one child that was a little bit smaller, and they had to get him a different face mask, and even then it still
Yeah.
didn't fit that well. So that like really stressed me out.
That did,
'Cause
bro.
that was the kid with the
there's
mom and the
scene where
bracelet.
they're literally like holding the head as they're
Yeah.
going in between the fucking stalactites, fucking hanging down. Stalactites? What the fuck are those called? Am I messing that up?
You're messing
Like the
it up.
rope.
Stagger lights.
I wasn't
Stag-
good at geography. Stalactites.
Is that right?
That sounds right.
That's my final one. Listeners at home, let me
a
know if I
geologist
fucked it up.
step
All I
in.
know is I only know that from Minecraft.
We went to those caves in 5th
Oh
grade,
yeah,
6th grade.
yeah, 6th grade. We went to
Yeah.
Ohio for that.
Yeah,
Josh
yeah,
wouldn't
yeah.
know. His school couldn't
Oh.
afford it back then.
Yeah.
No, I was there. I think I was there.
No.
We sent him pictures. He got pictures of the caves. They watched a PowerPoint.
Yeah. This is what
Whatever
the
it-
local school district from the neighboring city sent us over.
Whatever it is, it's a tight hole.
Yeah.
It is a tight hole.
It is a title.
But yeah, I this movie, I mean, it still felt long, but I think like I said earlier, when you read the headline on Twitter and stuff like that, that this soccer team got stuck in this cave, you really didn't think how crazy it was with all these volunteers, people around the world helping them, and really what it'd be like to be stuck in that cave. So
17 countries of that and 5,000 plus people is what it said at the end. I took a note on that for this.
yeah, that was crazy.
17 countries and 5,000. One thing, so I actually did kind of follow this story because it was like 2018, I think it happened.
Yes.
And one thing I didn't know is that that they didn't really show on the news or whatever was that the communities with the farms and stuff,
Mhm.
they didn't really so that was some that I didn't really know about that I thought was really cool, that all those, when you really
Yeah.
had so many people come together.
Well, because I didn't even know, like, obviously, the thing with the farms was that whole idea that engineer had to fucking, he goes, there's sinkholes, like, it's coming from the top. Like, that was
Yeah.
fucking genius. And, like, when the governor comes out there and he goes, what the hell are you doing out here? And he, like, explained it, and the governor's like, all right, what do you need?
Yeah.
Like, you think this can help? Like, let's fucking go. And that was cool, too, how he just pulled up on the locals and was like, who the hell are you? And he just, like, gave it to him. He goes, I'm an engineer. Like, he was born where? I forget, but he like is in
Bangkok.
Chicago.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because a
he's
few
like,
of those
I-
kids didn't have citizenship either, right?
Yeah, that's what
3
it
or
was.
4.
And
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
they were from a
granted
free state. Yeah.
after.
Oh wow,
after
yeah,
everything.
Mhm.
yeah. So I thought that was pretty cool too.
But didn't it say the kids and the parents?
Yep.
Yep,
Yeah,
we-
and
we
I think
could-
the coach
we could
was
never-
too, even.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
coach.
So I don't know. I mean, I think like if this movie was a documentary, I mean, it'd still probably be great, but I don't think it works as well as the way they did it in this movie, the way Ron
Yeah.
Howard captured it and everything like that. Really felt
The
incredible.
number one thing though, like we talked about it in the group chat, that they couldn't capture. It's just truly how fucking dark it was. In
Yeah,
that
that's
cave.
what I sent. That,
like that is one of the craziest things.
that is
Everything was pitch black, even in the water. Like all they had was flashlight, and it's just there, and that's all you got.
Yeah.
we forget about that because you even see the camera, and obviously because it's a movie, I mean, you need to be able to see what's going on.
The movie's
Uh,
just pitch black.
yeah.
You just hear it splashing the whole time.
But it that is if you've ever been like somewhere in complete black darkness, like a cave or like a forest, real dark at night, and the moon's not out, like something like that. I do like hiking and shit like that. It's it's actually terrifying because you can't see your hand in front of your face, and that's a weird concept to get behind. And to think that just these kids were out there like that, oh my gosh.
Yeah,
It's a crazy story. It's crazy.
it is. Yeah. Well, do you guys want to get into reviews for this movie? Scores.
Yes, we can do that.
Okay.
Do it.
I can go first. Honestly, I wasn't sure about this movie when we decided to do it. I saw that it was trending and that it was an Amazon Prime original, so I was like, okay, you know, I think that might be worth it. I remember seeing the story, so I didn't watch a trailer or anything, but I went into it and I saw how long it was, and I'm very pleasantly surprised by this movie and how, like I said, it really captured how horrible and scary it'd be, and the story is heartbreaking. Multiple times, it's like I almost just started crying because it's so sad the way they captured these moments with the parents and the divers themselves and the kids being alone and scared. And so, yeah, so I'm going to give this movie a 91 out of 100. I really enjoyed this movie. I could see myself rewatching it for sure. Ron Howard kills it. It's mint, as Aiden would say. I have to say
It's
mint since
fucking
not here
mint.
today. So I'd give it, yeah,
You give it 91 mints.
91 mints out of 100
91,
mints.
91 minutes out of
All right,
100.
I'm gonna go next because I have the scene on my mind, and I said I was gonna say it earlier, and I didn't. One of the craziest things, and again, it was Rick and John when they're talking. They went 4 for 4 the first go of grabbing kids,
Yeah.
and Rick and John look at each other, and again, Rick, I loved his character because he's just brutally honest. Like, there's the scene where before they even get any kids out, they're talking about these kids are fucking dead. Like, we
Yep.
cannot, they're not diving. And the driver was a parent of those kids. And he was like crying in the front seat. And he was like, can we go?
Oh.
And didn't realize what was going on. And he's like, oh, fuck. Like, I think John realized and Rick didn't. And, but no, when they went 4 for 4, fucking Rick looks at John and goes, dude, like, at first, if we pulled out a dead body, like, it would have been sad, but everything would have been okay. He goes, we're 4 for 4 now. If we do not bring everyone else out, now it's gonna be us like on TV pulling out dead bodies, and we're not heroes.
Yeah.
Like, and like they don't. It's not the fact that they want to be a hero. It's just like now the pressure's
Pressure's on.
Like, they cannot fuck this up, and it's scenes like that where it's shit that you don't even think about, but it has to be thought about, and that's why in the end, this movie, I'm gonna give it a solid 90. Solid 90 all the way around. Rewatchability, I would say yeah, but that would be more so if like I would just like come home, like tell my parents to watch it, like I'd sit down and watch it, or like vice versa, tell a friend to watch it, and I'm there, but like fuck, I'm sitting down and watching this too. Like, it's just it's really well put together. Again, for the 2.5 hours, that's a big commitment. Don't get me wrong, but they really utilize that 2.5 hours.
100%. I'll follow that up. So I think in terms of rewatchability, I can't say that I would rewatch it again, but I will say for like a first time watch, it's great.
Mhm.
It's a really long movie and it's just too big of a commitment for me to do a second watch for it. But I
Mhm.
think the characters Richard and John, they are awesome. I really like the good cop bad cop type deal they have going on. in the
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
The acting was great. I don't know the kid, their acting was really great too.
Yeah.
So overall, in terms of that, and then obviously like just the story in general, like you don't have a good heart if you don't like how this story ends or you don't like the story in general. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it
Agreed.
hits a little bit home more for me in a sense of like, because I remember following it, like Andrew said, when it came back, when it first like popped up on Twitter for us. I think you said 2018.
Yeah.
That's when it was.
It was
Yep.
around summer of 2018.
Yeah, yeah,
July.
we were in Canada the night that they decided to fucking sedate the kids.
Wow.
Really?
I only know that because that was my birthday.
Wow.
Okay.
I had just turned 19.
Okay. But yeah, other than that, I mean, I'm not too crazy about it in a sense of like I'm not gonna go above 90. I'm gonna give it 87.
Okay.
But I think
Respectable.
it's a pretty solid movie, and I think like you said, Josh, it fits a little bit better the way they told it the way they did compared to like a documentary.
Yeah.
So 87.
Gotcha. I will finish this off.
Good man.
I will actually fall kind of in between, I think, all of you guys with my review here. I liked it. You guys summed up everything I'd say. Mike, I actually had a point down to say good cop, bad cop. You literally took the words out of my mouth. I was like, oh, I was gonna say that. This kept me interested. I watched this late night, and it kept me up. Like, the anxiety is real. This feels like a movie that you don't even think could, like, you have to remind yourself, like, oh, this actually happened. Like, these motherfuckers dived in and got 13 people out of this cave on a 7-hour like that. I struggle to work an 8-hour shift some days. and these guys are diving out kids, and I mean I give them so much props, both those everyone involved in this, the farmers, it was unfortunate to see, really unfortunate. I mean, it made it real that someone died trying to do this. A trained Navy diver, like, couldn't make it out.
Yeah.
This is a good movie. If you have not seen this, give it a watch. I mean, yeah, we spoiled it, but if you don't know the story,
It's a real story.
Yeah.
Yeah, again,
Sorry.
spoilers already came out 4 years ago.
There's no end credit scene.
Yeah, there's they
Dude,
don't join the
Avengers. I told
Avengers.
you, the Deep and Aquaman showed up and got those kids out.
But I'm gonna give it an 89. The only reason I'm not pushing it into 90 is I feel like to be in the 90s, I gotta want to rewatch it. And I don't know if I would rewatch this movie. Not because it's bad at all. Like, this is a
Do you guys think this is in your top 10 right now for this year?
Yeah,
I would say so. Yeah,
for this year, I think
Yeah.
so. There hasn't been that many good movies though.
I think there's been a good amount, but not.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely top 10. I mean, I've watched a lot of good movies though that weren't from this year. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, because
like,
I don't know if I'd put
all-
this in my top 5, but I don't know.
No.
We'll
It's
see.
better,
I mean,
it's better than Thor and Multiverse of Madness. Tell you
yeah,
that
it's
much.
better than those movies.
Yep.
But yeah, you guys ready to talk bodies?
Let's talk bodies.
get into the
So
bodies.
we're gonna
Bodies.
talk bodies. All right, man.
Stop gaslighting me, Michael.